Hello there, welcome to a tyke farming in the Philippines. Don't forget to ding dong, like, subscribe, share and a ding dong at the end. Monday morning, 3 men on site, working on the posts of the piggery as usual. Warmish, bit cloudy, going to be a fine day. Maybe a little bit of rain this afternoon, I don't know. So we'll see how we go, and I'll make a couple of videos throughout the day. Back again. As you can see, all the posts in on the right hand side, 2 each end in the middle. And we've now got 3 posts there poured, another 3 posts here to pour, and then that will complete that side. We'll just have 10 more posts in the middle to do. So tomorrow morning, when they take these forms off, all the posts on these sides will be completed. Now, I'll go back here a bit. When you look at them posts on the left, the height of them, they're about 6 foot. And then the posts on the right, they're 10, 12, 14 feet high. But the third post in on here, when it was shuttered up yesterday afternoon, it had a small extension on top with a flat piece of plywood as a small extension, which I cleaned off, and then, if I can explain it properly, just above where the concrete is now on that pole, I had a flat piece of plywood, and like I say, I cleaned it off, and then by an eye of sight, from the back of the plywood, the leading edge of the plywood, to the further edge of the plywood, I lined it up with this pole here, and it's exactly plumb. From the top of that pole to the top of that pole is exactly plumb. So it looks very strange. It shows how much dirt they're going to have to move from here right away across that post. They say it's a small problem. I think they're having a lend of me. It's a lot of dirt to move. Mind you, this is the highest point. So down there, for example, there's not so much dirt to move. But yeah, it's coming on. We've got all the outside posts, or we will have in the morning when it's set. All the outside posts are done, and then we're working up the middle. So Wednesday, we should be nearing the end of the posts. We've got 4 holes dug or starting to dig. These are probably dug. That's probably as far as they have to go down. And then increasingly as we go up the bank, they'll have to go deeper. So that's where we're at with the piggery building. Now the palm tree burning, which I've just been doing a short while, about 8 bloody months. We barely alight. This one's smoking. There's very little left of that log now. Another one bites the dust, and there's a very small bit of log there, completely burnt out of the middle. That's barely barely smouldering, but it is smouldering a little bit. And then this one on the left is smouldering a little bit, but the other two are out. Really, they're all out for what they're doing. But it's looking like maybe the showers this afternoon, so I won't bother lighting. There's no hurry. Right, I'll leave it there and I'll make a concluding video tonight. Right, to conclude this video, we've got the last 3 posts formed up and they're being poured. And the 3 posts at this end are finished, so that's all that side finished. So the middle posts, we've got the iron working for 3 of them. I'm waiting of the next piece of iron to be sorted out, and they're all concreted in then 3. So we've had today, just now, an hour ago, we've had the local authority inspection for the fence, and according to the plans, I mean, I never had any input into the plans. They assumed we were doing it with concrete blocks, hollow blocks, but we didn't do it that way. We did it with posts and panels formed in concrete, so it's different to the plan. It doesn't seem to be a problem. We need to go back to the architect and get the plans altered so the fence is running with the terrain, i.e. as it comes down the bottom end it's stepped, and that seems to solve that problem. The architect who did the drawings works for the council, so it's a side job for him. And you've got to be careful what you say to other council members, because they get very jealous in the Philippines. If somebody gets a good job on the side and earn a little bit of money and the other person doesn't, they're not too happy, and they might sort of stir trouble for them, which in turn would stir trouble to me. But a good outcome of the engineers department come in. It was a woman who was in charge, I don't know what her position is, but I assume she's head of engineering or whatever, was asking about the fence here, because on the plan this was going to be a concrete fence, and initially she said you'll have to alter the plan so that it shows this fence, this side of the boundary isn't going to be fenced. And we explained that there's a bit of a problem with the boundary on this side, that's why it hasn't been done. And then she said, well, we'll leave it as it is, because if you alter the plan and then you get round to concreting this side, you'll have to put another permit in. So you'll have to pay it all again. So she said, we'll turn a blind eye to that and just leave it as it is and assume that it's being concreted. At that point, I'm told, she wanted a little bit of money. well, I don't take hints very well. If she wanted a little bit of money, she should have said she wanted a little bit of bloody money, so I didn't take the bait. But afterwards, talking to one of the workmen, they said, no, don't give her any money at all. No money, no money, that's all I could get out of her. But, you know, it's a foreign country to me, and 500 pesos, 7.5 quid to smooth things along wouldn't be a problem. But there again, you shouldn't have to do these things, but in Asia, you know, that's how it works. So that was the fence, and it looks like now we'll get these plans altered, and then that'll go through and it'll be passed. But the problem we had, another problem we had when we came, in that corner, there's a 20 feet by 20 feet bloody cesspit. And there's all these posts out the ground. So obviously they said, what's that you're building? Piggery. Have you got a permit? No. I'm waiting to get the permit for the fence, and then that's the next job, to apply for a permit for the piggery. Or there'll be a penalty because you've started building. And I said, well, not really. I says, we've put a little bit of an extension on the fence, which isn't on the plan, and we've got a few posts in the ground. She says, oh, well, there'll still be a penalty. And what that penalty is, I don't know. Maybe there won't be. But when this fella comes back to the architect to alter the drawings for the fence, I'll get him to draw the plans up for the piggery and the cesspit. And maybe not within the letter of the law, but within the spirit of the way things are done in Philippines. You can't just do your own thing. A lot of people do. Local Filipinos here wouldn't put in for a permit for anything because it costs money and they don't have the money. But better just to do a concluding video on the concluding video a minute ago. I was talking about, but I didn't get to say, this boundary fence and the bit of a argument, if you like, about the boundary. The engineer measured up between the monuments, surveyor's pegs, either end of this boundary fence. And when we explained that it's not being done because of the dispute on the boundary, the engineer said, well, there's no dispute. She says, all them trees are on your side of the boundary. She says, that's quite obvious. So you can build up to that boundary and complete the fence, there's no problem. But she said it's better to talk to the owners next door, as it is. And we've got a number for the owners, but it's not the owner. It's the owner's nephew who has a lease on the property from his uncle. So we can't actually talk to the owner. And we explained that to the engineer, and she says, well, just build up to the boundary line and there's nothing they can do, there's no problem. The only thing is, one of these trees, I don't know which one, is actually on their side of the boundary, not ours. So it'd be a tree on the other side, it'd be that one, on the other side of this fence. So we can't cut that one down. In fact, we can't cut any down now, I've found out, without a permit from the barangay captain. But we can lop all the big branches off so they don't fall on the piggery. And we'll be doing that from here down to that fence at the bottom. And when we're ready we can apply for a permit. Apparently the best time for a permit for taking trees down is November, December. That's the cyclone season starting. And if you say you're frightened the trees will fall on your house or your piggery or whatever building you've got, it's more or less automatic to say take them down. So that's what we'll probably do this December, is see if we can get a permit, because this is going on again for a concluding video, isn't it? For what I plan to do, and this is the end of the piggery here. On the end of this piggery, probably from this post, I've quite a big area there. I want to put a storeroom up, an area for mixing feed, possibly grinding feed, and I'll go right up to the boundary with that building, maybe to here, and that won't be a fence. If the side walls are 8 foot high, it'll be 8 foot high of concrete, and same along there, along that fence. And then I'll have windows this side looking into the piggery, and then this area here to this post will be a pen, and we'll put a road in down here, well, 2 lines of concrete, so the truck can back up to this post, and then we'll have a loading ramp. That's the plan. So I'll leave it there, and we'll do it again tomorrow.